Shalom, everyone. I hope that you're doing fantastic. Listen, if you're new, I'm not churchy or anything, but I do believe in the living language. It comes from my heritage and all that kind of stuff. I know that I come from the house of Jacob because Jehovah Elohim told me by way, he spoke it to my spirit, and he showed me literal things that I was walking out literally in my life, and he proved it and took me right into scripture that I'd read for all my life and didn't see certain things. But in whatever I was finding myself in, when you are from the divine, you will hear from him. Okay, first of all. But I'm not churchy or religious, but I used to be. Let me turn this on. I apologize. Something caught my eye the other day when I was reading. I've gotten on the channel before and had spoken how Jehovah had spoken to me about Abraham being his friend, how he called Abraham his friend. It comes from my lineage. I am from the house of Jacob. It was one of his grandchildren. That is my lineage. Can't help who I am, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't think I'm anything special, except if you are connected to the divine, then you and I are special. But he does have a group of people that he's got his hand over, and yet there's also a prophecy about, even though, you know, we'd be without number, there'd only be a remnant saved within this household because of some stuff that's taken place in the earth itself, and just with any given person. If you're evil, you're evil. Okay? Because Jehovah really isn't any respecter of person. At the same time, we'll never figure him out, his mysterious ways, and yet he says he has a people. For an example, and the book of Isaiah states just that. Isaiah, the prophet, stated that him and his children were given for examples, which come from that lineage and stuff like that as well. But something that caught my eye, given what we were talking about yesterday, which would have been the 3rd of December. I don't know when you're catching this. Could be way after the fact. I began to speak about, in my spirit, I seen feet. And then later I began to start a video to do a reading, and I just was getting on there to, you know, my normal spiel, let's go and get in this reading, and I seen those feet again, and the whole video began to go a different direction. And it began to speak about the iron and the clay trying to mix, and it being divided in the kingdom and all that kind of stuff. And you know, the clay goes back to the snake in the basket, as we always talk about. And the tarot decks that I use, I, you know, mark the living language of the root words on my decks. And the Tet is the hermit, and oftentimes you will see him holding the snake. Now, the snake has many different symbolisms to it. It will go back to wisdom. It goes because it's wise. It was the wisest beast that was made out of all of them, right? But he ain't wiser than the great divine. But it also goes back to, the snake is also used for healing, and so the hermit is also there with healing energy. But it is the snake in the basket, and he's able to catch it. And, you know, when Esau and Jacob were born, Jacob's name means a heel catcher. Well, we're dealing with the garden and things like that, and the dust. They were made from the dust, right? Well, Abraham was not made from the dust. He was made from a rock. And we're told that right out of Isaiah. Again, let us always remember, just when we think we know something, Jehovah can turn the thing around just like that. But he did reveal a little thing to me, and oftentimes he'll reveal a little bit more, and it'll just slowly unfold into its fullest measure. And sometimes it takes a long time before we get the whole interpretation of something. It's all in his timing. But he did point something out to me. The difference between the dust and the rock is shown. It is different. And to be a heel catcher, which the snake was going to go after the heel, and Eve was told she could step on the snake and it was going to be bruised, right? Substance. What kind of substance are we made of? That's huge. Because Isaiah talks about us hearkening unto him, those who follow after righteousness, and his righteousness was given to him because he believed Elohim. Okay, and so if you are walking in righteousness and you're and you really are a part of Abraham's seed, or you've been adopted into that seed, then you come from a rock. You don't come from the iron or the clay. You come from the rock. It states that it says to look or to hearken to me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek Jehovah, look unto the rock which you are hewn, and to the hole of the pit where you are digged. That's interesting to me because we know that when we're looking at Joseph's life, his brother and his brethren were jealous of him because Jacob gave him a coat of many colors, and oftentimes we'll see the rainbow and stuff like that, and he was thrown down in the pit, right? And so it's good, given the things that I have expressed and taught about on my channel, how energy will manifest itself in any way, shape, or form, and it's coming right here from the Word and why it was manifested that way. If you are from that household, you will experience a pit-like moment. You will. You and I will, because we that's the root of a thing will tell what the produce comes from, the root of that thing, right? And if you are from the pit, he'll always bring you up. If you are standing in the truth and you're seeking after righteousness, then you are from that rock that is also going to come and smash the iron and the clay and the feet of that thing to pieces. And that is the kingdom that's being set up for us. To me, this is huge. And it tells us right here, look unto Abraham your father and unto Sarah that bare you, for I called him alone and blessed him and increased him. And oftentimes we've been seeing that Nine of Pentacles there. That's somebody who's very much whole and they're alone. They've been segregated, put down in a pit, right? And we get a controversy with Zion from this energy. Jehovah is talking here about blessing Abraham, and he's called him alone, and he blessed him, and he increased him, and Jehovah shall comfort Zion. So Abraham is connected to Mount Zion. Okay? It's huge. But we are also getting Eden and the wilderness here in the scripture. For Jehovah shall comfort Zion, and he will comfort all her waste places. And he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Jehovah. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and joy and melody, singing. So hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation, for a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgments to rest for a light of the people. My righteousness is near. And yesterday I heard, or maybe it was this morning, it was either yesterday or this morning, I heard that his righteousness was near to come or something like that. I didn't realize this was here. I just read that top portion the other day, and I just stopped there and began to meditate upon it. I often hear things aren't always like what they seem. The dust is what the serpent eats. At the same time, we are also told in Scripture that people have eaten up his people and then consuming them, right? We know we got different types of beings in the earth and sick behaviors and that mixed energy causing people to be crazy and doing some things. This is all mystery to me about dust and the rock and metal and things like that, and things being mixed, and why the earth is operating the way that it does, and why we're even here, and what's the purpose. And it's all for testing, people. It's all for testing. Who are we? It's for you to discover it and for me to discover it. But his righteousness is here for salvation's sake, and it has already gone forth. And his arms, and we're in the 9th house right now in the zodiac, and that's his arm. It's the yod. It's his authority that judges the people and the islands and everything else. And we wait upon him. And he says to wait upon him, and on mine arm shall they trust. So here we are. Are we trusting? That is salvation. That house takes us right back to salvation and truth and the law. Every bit of it. And people have tried to you know, I can only speak from my own experience, people. I'm part of a soul group, and my family's been segregated, and we were told that Jakob would be in prison houses. To me, all this kind of stuff is very profound. And here we are, and Jehovah, I'm waiting, and you're waiting. If you are in the upright, he is going to deliver us, because his deliverance is found right here where the zodiac is, where the truth is, where the true law is, where the higher mind is, where the husband. He tells us, I'm your husband, and they are going to surely gather themselves against you, but no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So he said they're surely going to gather, but they're not going to prosper, because I'm married to you, and I got covenant with you, and you keep it with me, and you stay in truth, and you are following after righteousness. You're hewn right out of that rock. And I love Mount Zion, and that mountain's going to come down. It's going to shatter all that mixed crap. And yet the 9th house can go back to mixing and alchemizing thing, but it's that, like I've always taught, you could have something written on you and people just perceive that, oh, well, that's what you are. And actually, it may not be what you think it is. It could be representing the thing that is against you on the other side of a thing. That's why it's so important for you and I not to sit here and judge something or someone say, oh, you're Eve in the garden. No, he says it's like a wilderness. It's like Eden. I put you down in that pit to bring you up so that you could then rule from that place, because that's exactly what happened to Joseph. And he brought all his brethren in there, and they were ashamed at what they did to their family member. His righteousness is here, people. He showed me them feet the other day, and his hands are here to lift us up, because he's taken the mountain and he's crushing it now. He really is. So lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall be abolished, shall not be abolished. It will never be abolished. Sorry, I looked at my wording wrong. So hearken unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revelings. Because look, people, they really are going to sit there and call you names and everything. You and I prove who we are by following the truth. Are you of the rock, or are you of the mixture of the dirt and the clay and the metal? Or are you just metal, or what are you? Because the rock is going to win out in the end. I just kind of wanted to bring, I'm not going to go into any more of this, but I just wanted to bring this up because to me, it's just been going off in my spirit. Nothing's going to offend us when we know the truth, because his secret really is with the righteous those who are following after righteousness, it is revealed unto us the truth. We fear no evil. We'll walk right through a pit itself, because that's where we're hewn from. But he also brings us up to the mountaintop. But it ain't the mountain of Esau either. And yet Esau also came from that same place, but something went wrong there with the Esau group. At the same time, we do have portions of scripture where we can see where also some parts of Esau also escaped. So that mystery is up to the divine on who's who and what's what. And we prove who we are by what we're chasing after. Are you chasing after uprightness? Because I see a lot of crap going on today in some readings. There's really nastiness. And some people are so mixed up in their freaking head. And they're crazy. And they sign their soul away. And they ain't following after uprightness. They're a part of the stupid group that wants to just rail on you. If you are of the divine, people, his law is going to be found in your heart, and you ain't going to fear the reproach of men, and you and I are going to win, and we'll walk with the divine, and we'll be just fine. And I just want to share this. I'll just leave it here. Until next time, y'all. Shalom.